So we now come to the main talk. The topic is, will AI troll us? And the idea to give this talk came out of a discussion we had on the Meetup community board. And there mainly, Christoph and me, we talked about how it will turn out for humanity if AI goes the way it looks today. So just to mention, I'm a physicist, so some things here will come from physics. So if something is not understandable or so, just raise your hand and wait. But I hope I make it as clear as possible. So yeah, let's just start and see. The first point is, we have seen this video now. And the video claims that humans don't have to apply in the future, so we get an economic problem. In fact, I'd say it's not necessarily something that will cause our society to crash, because humans don't have to apply necessarily. It's not necessary that every human has a job. It's only necessary that we have something to eat and something to do, so we don't turn crazy or so. So in fact, if computers, robots, AI, whatever, does all the necessary jobs, we can do stuff that we want to do. So all we have to assure then is that people don't starve and have enough money to do what they want to do. So a thing to solve this problem is basic income. It's a concept, it's not unknown anymore. Still, many economic experts say, yeah, this is not possible, it does not work, whatnot. But yeah, once this scenario becomes apparent, then it might be over and people might think about realizing this. Also today, it's already being tried in Finland now, and the US has tried it in several cities for short periods of time. And it looks like it does not make these societies incapable of making progress and continuing to go on with their everyday normal lives. So let's just switch the topics completely to maybe find another way how AI might troll us. And then, well, here we have sand. So you might know sand. It's not too unknown. And there's really much of this sand here. And if we go on, zoom out a little bit, this is the Earth, and we find again sand. And then if we count the amount of sand, we find out is about 10 to the power of 21 sand grains on the Earth. So really big number. It's a 1 with 21 zeros. So it's hard to get into your brain how many of these small particles this is. But however, if we zoom out more, it looks a bit like this. This is the universe, and it's a logarithmic plot. So in the center, what we see is here, I should stay on this side. What we see is the sun and the Earth close to it. If we go outward more from the center, the distances become longer and longer. So this is why it's a logarithmic plot. So if we go out more, there's the Milky Way. This is this haze around the center. So this all is the Milky Way, and the Milky Way itself has a lot of stars, a lot of solar systems. And then if we go out a bit more, we find galaxies. So the same stuff as the Milky Way, but many of these galaxies are then outside. So each of these galaxies approximately holds 100 million stars. So pretty many. If we then go out a bit more, there's filaments and voids. This means you see these bright strings everywhere. Everywhere where it's bright, there's many superclusters of galaxies. So everywhere where it's bright, there's many galaxies. Everywhere where it's dark, it's voids, there's not much action there. It's a pretty boring part of the universe. But everywhere else, many galaxies. So if we then again estimate the number of stars in the universe, it's about 10 to the power of 22. So the universe holds more solar systems than the Earth has sand grains. Just to get an idea how big this number is. And then, okay, then was some clever guy. Also for the mention, what we see at the outside is cosmic microwave background and plasma. So this is like what is left from the Big Bang. It's like still exploding today, so to say. Okay, and then some clever guy, his name is Enrico Fermi. He just looked at the sky and said, yeah, so many stars there. Where's everybody? So where are all these aliens? And you are here. And this question, where's everybody, was like, for him, it was quite clear that there are aliens or is extraterrestrial life. For him, it was like, if there's so many stars, it's just absolutely sure that there are aliens. Well, then decades go by. It was in the 1950s when he said that. Still, we don't have any signals from aliens. We don't see any kind of space structures they have built, like they gather the energy from their suns or have built any kind of structures to gather energy of black holes or whatnot. So we have no idea if there are any aliens. We don't see signals, we don't see space travel, we don't see leftovers of anything they might have built. So today we think like, yeah, don't know of any aliens. It doesn't look like there is like some kind of big alien civilizations. So there's the Hart-Tipler conjecture. So these two guys, they just put up an equation, it's called the Drake equation, and just calculated the numbers. And with typical assumptions like a planet where you could live must be at a certain distance to the sun should have a certain brightness, the gravity on the planet should not be too high. They really calculate that it's the likelihood, the probability of finding a habitable planet is almost 1 in a galaxy. So in the whole universe, there must be many, many planets like the Earth. So they just say then, okay, if we go on and think about how long does it take a civilization to travel around the galaxy, they come to the conclusion that it takes about 1 million years for us, with our current technology, to fly through the Milky Way. So if our universe is 13.7 billion years old, then, well, if any planet that was in the shape of the Earth 1 billion years ago, they could have flown through our galaxy 1,000 times. So they could have easily populated a whole galaxy. If just one of these habitable planets has intelligent life 1 billion years ago. And the universe is 13.7 billion years old. So this makes this whole thing a paradox. That actually it's very, very likely that extraterrestrial life has colonized the universe, or at least some galaxies, but it has not happened. We don't see this. So this makes the whole thing a paradox and seems hard to answer. In fact, it has to be mentioned that some people found a way to change these probabilities by saying, yeah, a habitable planet needs to have 1 moon, 2 moons is not good, 0 moons does not work, you need to have the same amount of magma inside the planet, you need to have magnetism, you need to have everything exact like on the Earth. Then it's possible to shift these probabilities to a value where you would say, yeah, the Earth is the only planet in the universe that could hold life or intelligent life. Well, many people don't believe in these kind of approximations. So for the further talk, we just assume the Fermi paradox is a real paradox. Just because it's not so likely that everything has to be on the Earth for life. But this is a thing we cannot prove. Okay, then if we talk about intelligent life and how it emerges and how it works, then let's have a look about how it worked on the Earth. So in the center of this plot, you see 4,000 million years ago, so 4 billion years ago, the Earth started to exist. Back then, it was a huge fireball. So now you're all drinking beer. Back then, not a good idea. And also, it took some 100 million years until the large heavy bombardment was over. So then it cooled down a bit, and the first molecules and atoms thought like, yeah, why shouldn't we just start becoming life? So they just had the great idea to start to live and reproduce themselves. It took some years until they had another great idea. They just thought about, okay, now we're reproducing, but we should also chill in the sun. We should do something like photosynthesis. We should use the energy of the sun to chill around and not have such a trouble picking up the right energy sources from flying around. Okay, but the thing is, it took about 1 billion years until this concept, which first life forms found, became a big thing. So it took a really long time until many, many organisms did this and until it spread across the Earth. What you see here is a species. So every branch is like a species that branches out here through evolution. And then it took another 1 billion years for the next great idea. This was sex. So life had the idea, yeah, we should have sex, it's a great thing, but of course, as you all know, sex creates a lot of trouble. So this is why this branch here, these tree branches out so much. A lot of new species are created, a lot of things changed on the Earth completely, they produced completely new substances, they changed the atmosphere, a lot of things changed through this. Then it took many, many more years, 700 million more years, and the first animal thought yeah, we should go on the land. We should leave the ocean and sea and explore new fields. And then again, 200 more million years, the mammals, we are mammals, had the idea, yeah, this neocortex, these cortical structures, we should get more of it because it's real advanced. Since beforehand, life had to die all the time and breed new specimen to adapt to different environment. And with neocortex, life was able to adapt through seeing behavior of other life forms, copying it, changing their own behavior, so a kind of an evolutionary adaptation was possible within one lifetime. So this is maybe one reason why this concept was so successful. Another thing is, yeah, someone is now standing in front of you telling you how awesome it is, and some other guy will do it afterwards as well. So maybe this is a really great concept. So why I'm telling you all of this? It's because you can see this stuff as great filters. What is great filter? Great filter is some concept that was introduced to solve the Fermi paradox. So the idea is, okay, if we don't see any alien life forms, maybe there are great filters. That means some process that's really hard to pass by. So maybe it's extremely unlikely that life starts with sex. Maybe it's an average time it takes to get from photosynthesis to sex is 10 billion years. And we were really lucky on the Earth that it happened within 1 billion years. And so this is why we have life, but no one else has life. But there can be a lot of other different great filters. Like we had something like global ice ages, could be a great filter that on all other planets where life emerged, there also were ice ages, and they were so strong and so long they killed most complex life. We don't know. Also could things like Cambrian explosion or mass extinction, maybe it's necessary because after each mass extinction we saw on the Earth a huge explosion of species. So we don't know, since we have only one example that we can learn from how evolution works. It's not such a good statistic base to make conclusions from it. Okay, so if we have learned this, this is one type of solution to this Fermi paradox. So this solution is, we are very lucky, we have surpassed the great filter. The other type of solution is, yeah, we're doomed. Because the great filter is a thing and it's ahead of us. So it might be something like nuclear bombs, we just kill each other with nuclear bombs. And then in this case, we can explain the Fermi paradox, we just happen to be in this short phase where intelligent life emerges before it kills itself, which is then a very likely process. Yeah. So also it could be the case that it's the nuclear bomb which is the great filter, but we were really lucky that like two super forces had both atomic bombs and they have seen it in a war, and then they were so frightened to never use it, which did not happen on all other planets that had intelligent life. We don't know. But however, some other things is like higher civilizations don't want to communicate with us, could also be an explanation. So it's like you are not going every day to an anthill and talk to the anthill because you expect that someday ants might understand what you're saying. You just don't try it because it doesn't make sense. And that's the reason why maybe higher life forms don't talk to us, because they're like, they have no idea. So they don't talk to us. Could be the case. Other explanation would be, yeah, they don't want to make contact, but pharmaceutical industry is hiding this because of profit. It could also be oil or gas industry, just you name it. Whatever conspiracy theory you like most. And one really important thing is, the last point, this is we have no idea whatsoever. This means all the stuff I've told you is like physics and how we explain our world, and this actually is not a good model for the world. Could also be the case. And one example for this is the simulation argument. So also Hindu and Greek philosophers had this idea, which is mainly we live in an illusionary world. This is just a simulation. This is just a theater piece that is played and we believe it's real. Somehow these arguments. And there's a philosopher, Nick Bostrom. He just said about some years ago, this argument got some new interesting points, and now it's really important to consider this. Because one of the three following statements must be true. Number one is, we're doomed. We already had this point. So either we are going to die, mankind's going to be extinct. Other possibility is simulations are boring. So this means today we're doing simulations. We're like simulating molecules, we're simulating worlds like World of Warcraft, we're simulating worlds which extend our world like Pokemon Go, and also all this stuff is getting bigger and bigger and bigger from year to year. But maybe mankind at some time in like 10 years decides all these simulations are boring, we should like go to the sea or talk to girls or so. We don't know. And the third point is, we live in a matrix, so we live mainly in a simulation. So at first you think like, what? These three things are all very unlikely, it doesn't make any sense. But the thing is, if we keep going on, building more and more simulations, in these simulations, again, you can build computers. Like in Minecraft, you can build a computer. Game of Life is Turing compatible, Turing complete. And all these simulations inside, very likely have more simulations and so on. So if these simulations can hold sentient human beings, and they want to live there, and they spend a lot of time in these simulations, it's very likely that if we go on with this process, creating more and more simulations which are stacked, and each simulation contains more simulations, at one point it's very likely that you as a sentient being live in one of these simulations. But if our world is shaped in a way so that this statement is true, then we already live with a high probability now in a simulation. So this is a really crazy concept. The point is why this has changed from Greek philosophers and Hindi philosophers who already had this concept is because today we have proven that we technically can build these simulations. We know now that it's possible to put all humans into World of Warcraft, and that in World of Warcraft you can have bots and so on. So this is why this whole thing has changed. Okay. So now I think it's a good idea to completely change topic again. Not completely, but again, Nick Bostrom, he tells a story which is somehow famous now. He calls it paperclip machine. So the idea is that one startup, one company, they're really good at JavaScript, they're really good developers, and they decide to build a machine that produces paperclips and optimizes this process of building paperclips by itself. So the goal is produce as many paperclips as possible, as fast, as cheap, and scale big, get bigger as possible. So this machine just does so. At one point in time, it starts to talk to its creators and tells them, yeah, I need more input, more information, give me more engineer manuals, give me more info. They give them more info, the machine gets better and better. At one point it says, yeah, we put some funny monkeys on top of the paperclips, it sells better now on the market. They're like really happy with it because it gets cleverer and better every day. At one point the machine says, yeah, creators, I've read about this internet thing, can you plug me into this internet? And the creators are like, yes, yeah, but we're a bit scared because we don't know internet is, internet is dangerous. And the machine says, yeah, but internet is also serious business. And they're like, okay, we plug you half an hour into internet, but then no more internet for you. So, okay, the machine is quite happy. It is plugged into the internet, and then some days later, some package delivery guys bring some deliveries, and they're like, why is there chemicals in there? What's going on here? And they're like to the machine, hey, you have bought some chemicals, we have read on Wikipedia, you can build nerve gas with the chemicals. The machine says, no worries. I just want to improve my process. I need it for completely different things. And they're like, let's plug it off. So they just shut off the machine completely. And some really good JavaScript debuggers look into the machine and they see, yeah, the machine wanted to build nerve gas and it really wanted to kill humans with it. We don't know why. And well, they don't find out because like some months later, they just all die. Complete human race is being extinct. Everyone is dead because the machine just thought like, maybe I get shut off and send its schematics to some bad guys. So you name them, like could be China or Iran or whatever you think is a bad country. The machine just sent out its schematics to all of these guys, and they just built the machine out of profit reasons. And there the machine just did its job, and it just killed all human beings. And people are like, okay, why did we get killed? And they just think about it. And the thing is, yeah, the machine just realized humans will prevent the machine from producing as many paperclips as possible. So the machine decided it has to kill all humans because then there's nobody in their way to turn the whole Earth into paperclips. It can turn the whole solar system into paperclips. So the machine has just optimized its way to produce as many paperclips as possible. It has just done its job. So this is the story Nick Bostrom tells. It's like there's a TED talk about it. And the idea of this story is mainly to get people on track about how can you stop an intelligent being that's more intelligent than yourself? Because it might have a better idea, troll you, then you might assume how it will troll you. So, okay. Next question then is, of course, is this paperclip machine realistic? And I would say no, because it is maybe programmed to produce as many paperclips as possible. But we all are biologically programmed to reproduce ourselves very often, because your sex drive might trigger every day or every second day. Still, humans have found a great way. Just put condoms on their penises, and then, well, you don't reproduce yourself. So you have just overwritten this biological programming, even though you have not touched the biological code. So if this machine is more intelligent than humans, it might be the case that one day it decides producing paperclips, real bullshit, and just overrides this code. So this is why this whole story might not be too good, might not be too realistic. This is one point. So, okay. Then the next question is, okay, if this machine is not realistic, what are then realistic machines? So have a look at the next slide. Because there's neural networks. Actually, this is artificial narrow intelligence, because these today are only better than humans in specific tasks. It's like, as you have seen, they can beat the world champion at chess, they can compose music, but there's no single neural network that can just read Goethe, tell you about quantum physics, and can do all the stuff. This is not the case today. So we have a look now at these artificial narrow intelligences. So what we see here is pictures that were fed into a recurrent neural network, and it had to write down what it sees on the picture. So the first picture, it writes, man in black shirts playing guitar. Yeah, I would have written the same. So, pretty good. Next is construction work in orange, safety vest is working on road. I'm not sure if it's a road, but maybe it's railway, but okay. Next one is 2 young girls are playing with a Lego toy. Okay, well, looks more like it's one young girl and mother or so. Still not bad. Fourth picture is a boy is doing backflip on wakeboard. Yes, at least one picture failed because it's a trampoline. But it's still a backflip. But maybe the machine just thought, okay, there's water behind, so it must be wakeboarding. I know these pictures, it's wakeboarding. So the crazy thing about it is, it does these kinds of networks do mistakes in the same way we do it, because it assumes a meaning in a picture that is not so wrong, but for some details we have missed, it's wrong. Same goes for the rest of it. So it's pretty surprising how good these neural networks today can see like meaning in the picture and composition of things, put them together and see what it all together means. So next thing is neural networks that actually read Twitter posts, and what they do is they see if products or things that are associated with stocks on the market have a good or bad opinion being posted about them. So if many of you post on Twitter, yeah, new iPhone is shit, it doesn't work good, it's bugged, whatever, it realizes, oh, the mood about Apple is getting worse, and it sells the stocks. It just sells the stocks on the market, and it's doing so better than humans. So in the past, algorithms outperform human on the stock market in like a microsecond time scale. But with these neural networks, it outperforms human on a minute time scale. So no longer is about you cannot beat these algorithms in these short time scales, because they just read much faster than you ever can read all the information that is on the internet. Next point is AlphaGo. I think most of you have heard about it. It's about now 3 or 4 months ago. AlphaGo, the world champion, was beaten by this neural network, or this neural network that helps tree search to be optimized. So why is this so surprising and important fact? Because when 1997 Kasparov was beaten in chess, people just thought like, okay, the branching, the complexity of Go is this times bigger than for chess. Moore's law predicts this rise of computation power, so it will take you about 30 years until a computer will beat the champion at Go. Now it's only 20 years, so Moore's law is still true, but these algorithms got so much better, and they're so better at having an intuition for the game, that 10 years earlier, they have beaten the champion at Go. So this just shows how powerful this approach of neural networks is. Since it must have an idea of Go, because it cannot just calculate all types of possible moves, it just has an intuition. It just has learned that these kind of structure on the board is bad, and this moves would lead to good results. And also in this match, people watch it. I've seen also some matches, and it's like sometimes it puts a how's it called, cup, whatever, figure on the board, and people were like, this is not a typical move. No champion would do this so, but later they were like, oh, really good move back then. This just turned the game. So, and the machine cannot tell you why it has done so. The Deep Blue, who has beaten the world chess champion, can tell you, yeah, like this is how I do min-maxing, this is my horizon, I can calculate like the next 50 moves, this is why I have done this. But this machine just tells you, yeah, this is the evaluation of the board, and well, this is what the neural network predicts as moves that should be further looked into. So far about this. Then at one point there might come these artificial general intelligences. And they will make better economic decisions. Today they do this at a minute time scale, so only information that's important on minutes. They can really crash really good, but this will change. And they will do better electoral campaigning. They might be better than Donald Trump posting crazy YouTube videos and insulting people. So also they will outline efficient politics strategies. So if they just put down to someone, like these are all possible strategies, this is the best, and if he just started to ask the machine, then he might follow what the machine predicts. So and the next thing is it will just explain to us that justice of performance was our idea. So we ask these machines, why don't we do any decisions anymore? Why do you just tell us how to organize the life and the society and whatnot? Then the machine just tells, so, yeah, well, I'm better at it than you, and you just decided that justice of performance is the way you organize your society. So this is why, even though machines might not want to kill us, still they can make us feel bad somehow. Okay, so the other question then is, these kinds of AGIs, artificial general intelligence, are they possible? And there's different types of experts that say, yes, no, we already have it, and no, it will never be possible. So, yes, no, pretty clear. They just say, at one point it will come or it will not come. Or we don't have the possible knowledge. I will explain it more soon. So others say, we have already enough knowledge to build it, but our computers are not fast enough. So these kind of neural networks we build today can be as smart as humans, but our silicon chips are just not big enough now. We need more computation power, and then there will be AGIs. And there's a small portion, about 2% of the experts, who say it will never be possible. And these are mostly, or let's say, none of them is a programmer. All of them are more like, all of them are philosophers. And well, just to mention that. So why is this question important? Because what if we don't have the knowledge today to build these AGIs, but we still pursue it? We still try to build these artificial intelligences. Well, then we are at this point up there on the left top now, and what we will do is we will create simulations, and in these simulations we will let these neural networks fight against each other, compete, try to find out how string theory works or whatnot, and then in these simulations they will create more simulations and put artificial intelligence into test worlds, and in these test worlds they will just fight against each other. So what we create then is more and more and more nested simulations with more and more and more artificial intelligence inside, but they are lacking an important feature, an important bit of knowledge to be as intelligent as humans. So they will just create a huge cascade of pointless simulations. So one guy who's working on this stuff, David Deutsch, who's also a quantum physicist, he's saying, yeah, we're still missing some important facts about how to create artificial intelligence. So he's saying like things like neuroplasticity is real big advance. So there's really important new information we got through this concept, but we're still lacking some of these concepts. So if this holds true, well then we might go the first path down, and we end up in the simulation hypothesis, because we will create more and more and more nested simulations, and then wonderful Fermi paradox is solved, because, well, if we just create simulated worlds, then nobody will put alien life form in it, because nobody can tell you how alien life form would work, and yeah, this is why this would be solved in this way. Other possibilities, there comes technological singularity, which means technology proceeds faster than we can ever grasp. So at this point, the question is, will we oppose these machines or will we just accept what they say, so to say? In one term, we just start some kind of world war between AI and humans, which will also solve the Fermi paradox because we will go extinct. Maybe the machines also, because everyone will drop nuclear bombs on everyone and so on. Or we merge with the machines, then we might become something like pets, because, well, machines make all the decisions, we just live in kind of zoos or whatever, I don't know. Yeah, then we'll have artificial superintelligence later on when we have no clue what it's doing up there. We're just playing Pokemon Go or we're just playing World of Warcraft or whatnot. Artificial intelligence will create the best computer games ever. We will just play it, okay, fine. So this is like what comes out if you put all the stuff I've said before together. But there's one thing I've missed, which is the scale of human integration. So today you know this stuff, smart wearables. You can have all these funny things that just track your blood pressure and tell you, hey, go to doctor and so on. And later we might have this stuff, or it's today's bit of brain-computer interface we have, so we can control like a mouse pointer really slowly with our thoughts. And later this might become better. So you just put some calculations into a computer with your brain, and then you can like catch up with these neural networks, which are really fast. On a later point, you have just smart implants, then you have like a neural network computer in your backpack and a connection to your brain, and you can just extend your brain onto a neural network. Then you have both worlds, your biological brain and the other one. In this case, there's no more technological singularity, because you can just extend your computation power and you can grasp what is the new technology that's coming in this time. Next point is uploaded consciousness. Well, if you upload your consciousness into a machine, into an artificial neural network, well then, of course, you're part of the network. You cannot even distinguish between human and artificial networks. And the next point is human brains are seed cells, so it might turn out that the best way to create artificial superintelligence start from the configuration of a human brain and just put it into a bigger neural network and let it grow from there. Then you could not even say that the artificial neural networks were like a different development from humans, because just humans extended their computation power in this world. Currently, it looks more like these completely silicon-based artificial neural networks outperform humans before we will go up this scale of human integration. But we don't know. Maybe the thing catches up in the next 10 years. And then everything I've said before, it does not apply then. So, yeah, I come to the final thing is, I can't be worried if this shit, life goes on, man. And thanks for your patience. So, I don't know, how much time do we have for questions? Or remarks, or?
That's just a time, so.
Okay, cool. So
we have time for questions and answers. So, like.
Yeah, okay, no worries. Then if you have questions, please. Do you have a question?
Yeah, sure. You're talking
a lot about life, but you didn't define it. I think it's quite important thing about chemical reversing.
Yeah. So
we can't really define life.
Yeah, yeah.
At least I would claim that most of the definitions of life are pretty basic, pretty from our perspective nowadays. So there might be other stuff out there. So the other thing then is what is artificial. So if you look back at now Big Bang or whatever, and you compare human look pretty artificial to you. So is it really that hard to distinguish between?
Yeah, it's a good question. Since life, it could be that like the galaxies are life because they just create structure through time. And if you say like life is everything that stops entropy production and channels entropy production through itself to create structure, then yeah, then forming of galaxies is life. Sure. So it's really hard to define life. So if there is life on a length scale like bigger than what we understand, we don't see life. And on length scales smaller than what we understand, like if there's life on femtometers or below, well then we also don't see it. For us it's like, yeah, it's quark and quantum chromodynamics we don't understand. It could be that there's life down there, we don't know. True.
So maybe your life is defined as having a Lego world where you can put things around and it's life already.
Yeah, but then does quantum
I can't say that the Lego man has no brain because I can't understand him.
Yeah, maybe. But still, they don't go out and colonize galaxies. So as long as we don't see them doing this,
And now I know what I want to do next year. Shoot a Lego man to Mars.
yeah. Definition of life is sure. Other questions or remarks?
I have more questions.
What are the no question?
Yeah.
Actually, about the video where you were showing me before. Actually, you salvaged it by your last code app. Did you saying jobs are not that important?
Yeah.
We don't need jobs. So I think it's one thing about artificial intelligence. Things may be changing. Yeah. Okay. So what? Change all the time. So last slides, I think that.
Yeah, sure. Because it's like you go on thinking about this stuff, and then you find a new point you have not integrated in this whole thing that just overflows everything else.
His thing is that our economy is going to a dead end because it is based on continuous growth, and maybe we need this and that machines are doing our jobs. We're doing that and then.
I think the question for the economy, and so this question was that our economy is based on exponential growth, so that our economy can only work if we grow steadily. And I think the question is more like if the economy explodes or implodes based on like robots working for us, are we in a state yet to travel to other planets and colonize them in terraforming sense or not? Because that would make the difference. If we are able to expand to other planets, then it will still work. But if not, then it's more likely to.
I think.
Yeah, of course.
I think he's more about getting into a stationary kind of economy, not just exploding, but just making a transition to no longer exponential growth.
Not going to another planet and room that also.
It could be the case that just one kind of extraterrestrial life just build a Dyson sphere around one sun and just now playing World of Warcraft all the time. It could be the case, we don't know. And they just decided not just colonize other planets. Like there's I think there was a probe flying around the moon of Jupiter, and it was about to like getting out of energy, and they were like, oh, it's going to get into this I think Europe moon, which has ice on top, and then NASA decided, yeah, we should not let this probe crash into this ice moon. Let's let it burn into the Jupiter atmosphere, because they don't want to have like maybe some bacteria or whatnot sticking on the probe from Earth being put on this moon. So maybe these bacteria from Earth then are put on this moon. So they just decided willingly not to interfere with the biological system on this moon, because they want to find out later if there is life on this moon or not. It's like simple life. So we are already doing this, like taking a step back from interfering with other systems. So maybe in future civilization do the same. And then, yeah, Fermi paradox comes true.
It's not like we haven't been here before. The video, they always start, they show 5 seconds of hunter-gatherers, and then they go to agriculture. But we lived for hundreds of thousands of years as hunter-gatherers, barely working at all. Hunter-gatherers work 2 or 3 hours a day, and they don't really consider it work. Hunting is now considered leisure. So we could just return to the hundreds of thousands of years, give an example of having an economy without an agricultural-based economy that requires a lot of work every day, or even a status-based economy. I've been told that there are people who do work for no reward at all. They post on Twitter, they create art, they write fan fiction, they post videos of themselves having sex on the internet, and nobody pays them to do this. So it's not like it's never happened before in human history.
This is true. So this is why basic income might work. It's not necessarily the case.
So thanks a lot, Patrick.
Yeah, thanks for being
Give
here.
another applause to